Earle Pughe here. Today we'll look at a 12-bar blues in E. The previous two videos have also been on 12-bar blues in E, so please check those out. This tune is Two Bugs and a Roach. It's by Earl Hooker. I'm not exactly sure what Two Bugs and a Roach means. There's rumors that it had to do with his TB. This tune uses a minor pentatonic scale, or a minor pentatonic lick, and that's followed by chord fragments, 2 or 3 strings from a chord shape. There are 3 chords. There's an E7 chord. We'll use strings in the middle. We won't use string 1. We use 4, 3, 2. There's an A7. We'll use strings 3, 2, 1. And there's a B7, and we will also use strings 3, 2, 1 on that. Now there's a minor pentatonic lick, so we're going to take a look at an E minor chord. There's all 6 strings, but if you actually look at the notes, we've got an E, a B, an E, a G, a B, and an E. So there's really only 3 notes. We've got an E, a G natural, a B, an E, a G natural, and a B, an E, a G natural. Even though it's a 6-string chord, it's a 3-note chord. Now, this is in contrast to the chords from the song, which are all 7th chords, and would all be 4-note chords. E7 would use E, G sharp, B, and D. So that'd be 1, 3, 5, flat 7, as opposed to the E minor, which uses 1, flat 3, 5, and there's no 7 on the E minor. Now the E minor pentatonic scale, we're going to take the E minor arpeggio, E, G, B, E, G, B, E, G, and we are going to add 2 passing tones. We're going to add an A and a D natural. So we will get E, G, A, B, D, and then it will go again. E, G, A, B, D, and we could go further. E, G. So this minor pentatonic scale does not exactly fit any of the chords, but he will play a lick that uses the notes from the minor pentatonic scale, and then he will follow that with a chord fragment. And so the chord fragment will agree with the chord chart. So we'll hear a resolution, but strictly speaking, these licks aren't paying as much attention to the chord of the moment as in some other songs. He plays a lick and then follows it with the chord fragment. Now every time he plays the lick, it is slightly different, and this is kind of the thing that makes this tune so interesting and makes it a little bit aggravating to really play right, is that you've really got to keep track of which one you're on. So the first lick starts on beat 2 on the A note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then we've got the chord fragment. Now, those first 2 notes were a dotted 8th note, followed by a 16th note, and then 4 8th notes. So there's a little funny thing in the timing there that's really kind of important to getting the song to sound right. 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, the second lick, same notes, but we start later. We start on the and of 2, so it'll be 1, 2. So we had 2/16 that were hammer 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1. And then the chord fragment again, and the chord fragment tends to have the same rhythm every time. Now, the third lick is going to once again start on the 2. So 3, 4, 1. Now, this lick was leading us from the E7 chord to the A7 chord. So he changed the notes a little bit. The first two licks had the same notes. This one slightly different notes, but we had that we still had that dotted eighth followed by a 16th note, 2 E and a 3 and then there was a 2/16th note pull off, and then an 8th note. So 3 and 4 and 1 and now we're on the A7. Now we get to the lick that's bringing us from the A7 back to the E7, and we're starting on beat 2 again, and it's all eighth notes. It's rhythmically less diverse. 3, 4, 1. Now we're on an E7, and we're going to the B7. So we have that same rhythmic thing on the E7 chord fragment. But this, we're going to hit the open E on the and of 1. So 3 and 4 and 1. So this one started earlier than any of the others. Then we've got on beat 2, we've got that dotted 8th note followed by the 16th note, 2 E and walked us into that B note because we're on the B7. Now, very short lick here, just 2 notes, G, A, so just kind of gets us to the A chord. Now, before the chords, on the first line we had an E7 chord for 4 measures. Then we had A7 for 2 measures, then E7 for 2 measures. So we sort of had more time on the chord. So it would last full measure and then be tied over the bar line and ring into the next measure. Here on this last line, measures 9, 10, 11, 12, we've got 1 measure on B7, 1 measure on A7, then 2 measures on E7. So the A7, the B7 and the A7 don't have as much time, and we've got to get to the next chord. So instead of being the same rhythmic figure that we've been using, it's just the beginning of it. So on the B7, we have that B note on 1. And then we get to the E. We do have 2 measures on that last E chord, so we've got time to sort of play the full rhythmic figure that we were using on lines 1 and 2, and then have a lick. Now, when he goes into the next time through, it's slightly different. He doesn't start until the and of 2, so once again he's starting a little bit later. 3, 4, 1, 2. And then he's back to the top. So that last lick, it was all 8th notes, and it started on the and of 2, 4, and 1, and 2. So that was the essentially the turnaround lick. It got us back to the top. So when I'm working on a tune like this, I recommend I use a metronome. I recommend that you use one, a metronome as opposed to a drum machine, and set it slow. So here it is at 60, you know, so you really have time to count out those eighth notes and 16th notes and dotted eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Back to the top. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on two bugs and a roach. These blues in E really fit great on the guitar, either the electric or the acoustic. So I'll do a couple more, just you know, so that you've got some continuity, maybe some things that you wouldn't notice if it only happens in one tune, but you do it in 3 tunes, and you know, the light bulb goes off, and you say, aha. Some days I feel like I could spend the rest of my life working on blues in E, and still there'd be plenty to learn. However, it's not such a great key for, you know, some vocalists. A lot of sax players do not prefer it. A lot of keyboard players do not prefer it. So you know, it's a great key on the guitar, but you know, the guitar is a 12-key instrument. So we will move over to B flat blues at some point and do a bunch of those. So please give me a like. Please subscribe if you're enjoying these videos, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you.